Hello again, listeners, and welcome back to the Kotu Classic FPL podcast. I'm your host, Bruce, and as usual, Mr. Chama. Chama Nakamak.
Boy, I'm good, boy. I'm good. How are you? I'm so buzzing now that the World Cup is right around the corner
Yeah,
because yeah,
we
like it will
finally
save me of my FPL, you know, my difficult times in FPL. I would say it like that.
we finally get a much needed break. I'm also excited for the World Cup, to be honest, even though the timing is not the best. It's
Definitely.
not in the summer, but yeah, I think we should make use of it. Get a much needed rest and refresh. Yeah. So we are recording game week 16 preview. This is the last game week before the World Cup. And let's just jump right into it. Just go to the review because a lot of things happen, and I think you will be in a better position to explain to me. Game week
Yeah.
15,
Give me 15 review.
we finally get Salah loyalty points against Spurs. I think my gaming was going really terribly because we had the Cancelo red card. Funny thing is, I captained him for like I think 1 hour before I went to bed or so, and I decided to change at the last minute. For some reason, I don't know. I said, this is not, let me just put it on Haaland, and put the vice on Cancelo. So that was what saved me because when I saw that he had a red card, I thought in my mind, oh man, this is going to be a bad game for me. But then, it worked out. Salah
It
scored
worked
two
out.
goals. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Please explain what happened, the crash at the site, and all hell broke loose.
Yeah, it was crazy. A couple of 2 weeks in a row, the FPS side has crashed because of leaked team news. Well, that's what I would say, because just 1 hour or 30 minutes before deadline, there was this leak that Hala wasn't starting last week, and the same week, the same thing happened this week. So
Mm.
as you can see, about 80% of managers on Haaland, so about 8 million managers trying to do something at the same time. It caused the FPS side to crash. Even though it should not happen, I think. I think they
Yeah,
should go past that. They
definitely.
should expect this kind of things to happen. They have been doing it for a while. But yeah, that happened. And like everybody everywhere I was complaining about it. Even yeah, the famous Andy Murray, tennis player, English tennis player was
Oh,
complaining,
really?
yeah, on Twitter about it. So yeah, it was that huge. It was that huge, and it's happening for the second. And this week too, Man City played the early kickoff. So if there is another league team news, there is a chance
That
that
should
it
fit.
could happen. But anyway, what is your take on early team news and early like teams like league team news or something like this, and then people take it advantage? I think we discussed this many times here before, and they changed the deadline, making it 1 hour 30 minutes earlier. But still, these kind of things are happening. Yeah. What is your take on it? What's your take on that?
To be honest, I don't think it should be an issue. Why should team news have a deadline and all these things? The deadline should be before the match starts.
Uh-huh.
Simple. Just keep it simple. Like, why? Is it that when we have the news, we're going to get like we're going to make so many changes, or we're going to have too many points? Everybody's going to be on the same level playing field. We all have to have the news. Maybe you can say that the advantage is that people in England, obviously, they're in the different time zone. People in America,
Mhm.
all over the world with different time zones.
Yeah, that's one thing.
But you can never have a level playing field with everybody being on the same time zone. It's not possible. So let
Yeah.
the people that are in England have the advantage. It's fine. For me, I don't even think about it now. Since when they have all these 1 hour 30 minutes, I said, okay, you know what? If I go to bed, I'm going to set my team to what I think. I'm not going to change it anymore. Especially the captaincy, I hardly change captaincy. Last week was the only week where I said, okay, let me change it back to Haaland because I don't really trust Cancelo, and I was right. But I hardly once I set it for the week, that's it. I don't change it anymore.
Yeah, you
But
guys,
to be honest,
yeah, I think you
shouldn't be it
guys,
should be it shouldn't be an issue because if you
yeah,
watch the Champions League fantasy, if you play it, you will see that like
that
it goes all the way until the
the
deadline when the
kickoff,
game
right?
starts. The first game starts for the week. That's it. That's how
Yeah,
it's supposed
personally,
to
I,
be.
th- I I think that's the way to go. Because
Hmm.
like if league teams news happen 1 hour before kickoff, you say okay, let's move it to 1 hour 30 minutes. It happened 1 hour 30 minutes before kickoff. Then now let's move it
So
to
now
three
what?
hours. So you keep moving it. There is no end. So like you say, for me too, it's like about make it at the start of the kickoff, and then people use that advantage. It even brings more strategic thinking in the game, because sometimes people like myself who used to like to do his transfer 2 or 3 days earlier, or maybe immediately after after the end of the game week, and then try to catch the price rises. You have to think:
Price rise,
should
yeah.
I think about price rise, or should I think about the opportunity
Mm-hmm.
to know the team, the first? It brings more like different type of thinking that people have to engage in. But
Because
yeah,
you have to consider a lot of things when you're making these things. Do you want the price rise, or do you want to
exactly, you have
actually
to
focus on
prioritize
the game
something.
and have the play? Yeah, the points. So it
Yeah,
depends. They
yeah,
should
it
just open
is.
it up, man, and leave all these crashing of servers and stuff like that. Because
And they
crashing of the
say,
servers means that
I heard people say, okay, if they do that, then it will gonna crash before kickoff, because everybody will wait until before the start of the game. But that's
but
not gonna happen, because you have 1 hour in that period to make your
mm,
transfer. So you
mm,
know the team, then you wait. You can make your transfer anytime. But it's because this one is just happening like 5 minutes, 10 minutes before the deadline. So that particular period, 80 million people trying to do the same thing, it's gonna cause havoc, right?
the, the the thing is, this should tell you that a lot of managers are now more engaged than ever, which is a good thing for the game.
Yeah,
But
yeah, and
also,
more
it
managers. Yeah,
shows that it shows that the game should have been like the people that are organizing the game, which is
they should
the
evolve, right?
FPL, they should evolve and also try to get more servers, because obviously, come on, man, you're catering to how many million people, but then you're supposed to be able to handle that traffic. So get more servers and
Definitely.
upgrade. It's simple.
And people
Maybe
were
that's
also
that's the
disappointed.
whole reason why they're doing that. They didn't
Yeah,
make any announcement. Also, I heard that.
yeah, and they don't.
They also
They will not talk
acknowledge.
about. They will not talk about it on their Twitter. They will not talk about it on their podcasts. So at least this kind of thing happen. They are monumental. They are impactful. They affect people who happen to be your I don't know. You cannot call them client, because nobody's paying for the game. It's free for everybody. But
Mhm.
they are making the game live, right? They are making the game become interesting because of the number of people. So at least have the courtesy
Mhm.
to come out and say,
To
we are
acknowledge,
sorry,
yeah.
this crash and stuff like that. Have that courtesy for the people who are playing this game, because some are badly affected. Some are having a wonderful season. For me, I don't care, because my season is terrible, right? But some are having a very good season, and this kind of kill their any chance of. But of course, it is what it is. Hopefully they will fix it, and hopefully they have a 6 week window in the World Cup to adjust for this kind of situation. So hopefully they will do something. Yeah,
I
but
think it
that's it.
crashed because of too much traffic. They just need to get more servers and invest in the game. That's just the simple truth about it.
And the game is, I
Um.
think, 10 million players right now, so you can make money from the game, huh?
Mhm.
But let's
Okay.
talk about the
So let's
results.
yeah, let's pick out a few of these results and just discuss. I think you can talk about your Liverpool sports. I think away win, the vital points for you guys.
Yeah, it's big. It's big because this is our first away win in the Premier League this season. Surprisingly, this is the first away win we have in this. And yeah, the guy was back into his form. When I woke up, I didn't know what the game, so I cannot speak much. But he scored some two exceptional goals. Darwin and him, they are looking to forge partnership.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I was a bit surprised though. To be honest, that's why I was not even like eager to wait for the game. Like it was 2 a.m. in Japan, and I had to go to work like 7 a.m. because I start work
Mm-hmm.
8 a.m. Nowadays. So why should I watch a game until 3 a.m. and then go to sleep? And then I was thinking about
Mm,
that. So that's why I did not watch the game. It's not like I don't have hope, but it was just it was just too much for me to watch it at that time. And then and I was not expecting the win. So maybe.
mm.
But it was good that we won
Yeah,
that one, and now we can kick on. And the World Cup is
yeah.
coming. I think
Hopefully, yeah.
only 7 players going to the World Cup. Like the
Hmm.
whole squad, almost everybody is not going. So that's a good thing for Liverpool. I don't know how many are going for from United and other clubs, but yeah, for Liverpool, the numbers, I think I like it. Other
Yeah,
games?
they can. Well, let me go. Since you talk about Liverpool, it's just fair that I talk about Man United. The 3-1 defeat to Aston Villa. Just terrible. I don't even know what happened. I didn't watch the game, you know. But we shouldn't be losing to Villa, not especially at this point. But they have a new coach that has left. They've been fired. They have Unai Emery, who's back, the former Arsenal coach, and he's always been a problem for us when he was even at Villarreal. Remember, we played them twice and lost one final, and I think another final also. So
Yeah.
He is not the best coach when it comes to maybe he knows us, or there's just some type of people that you come across that just know have your number. I think
Yeah.
he's one of them. But we got payback. We took them out of the cup yesterday, so I'm happy about that. But yeah, to the 3-1, the performance wasn't the best,
Yeah.
and hopefully we get our revenge and we also kick on from that. So yeah,
Yeah.
um,
Man City game was also key, right? This week. The Cancelo
it
red
was
card.
it was
But
key.
yeah.
It's surprising that we were expecting that Man City will hammer Fulham with a lot of goals, but it was a lucky one for them. I think Man City were lucky to have a penalty, and then Haaland was the one
Yeah.
that took the penalty, right?
Yeah,
They
yeah.
were they,
And
they were they
yeah,
were
that
lucky to
penalty
win this
was
one.
was a bit dodgy,
Hmm.
I think. KDB kind of by that one. But yeah, it is what it
Yeah,
is.
that's experience. That's what experience happened. That's the game, man. He played the game very well,
Yeah.
and yeah, I think they dominated. I think they had even some. Haaland also scored before, but it was ruled for
Offside,
offside or
yeah.
something like that. So yeah, okay, I think another one, the last one to mention is Newcastle Southampton, the 4-1. I think
Uh-huh.
this is the reason why people are targeting Southampton now, because they also just fired their coach, right?
Mhm.
And Newcastle, they are flying right now. I think they're all the
Oh.
way up to third. So
The Almiron show continues.
continues. That's
Yeah,
why
but
we
yeah,
capitalize
I
on
think
them.
it's also important to mention Arsenal. Of course, not FPL
The
important.
1-0,
Of course, they
yeah.
kept the clean sheet because yeah, that was a huge win, right? That was the biggest game of the week, to be
It's a
honest. They
it's
are
a
at the top of the
statement win.
table. They played
Mm,
Chelsea, who were in the top four or something. So I think in terms of position of clubs, I think that was the biggest game this week. So Arsenal coming out on top away to Chelsea's. It was huge. It was huge because this is the
statement,
game.
yeah.
He's at the top. You know, when you're at the top of the table, like going away to these big fixtures becomes more difficult because
Mm,
they kind of prepare more for you, and these are games that Arsenal will always crumble in, But
mm.
they did not. They controlled the game. Chelsea was very poor, to be honest, too. But I think Arsenal were worthy winners in that game. So yeah, people need to take them very seriously now. If you did not take them seriously before, you need to take them very, very seriously. Arteta is doing an exceptional job at Arsenal. Zaha boy, you need to talk about Zaha because you sold him, right?
Sold him a
Did
long
you?
time ago. Even when I saw the result, I was like, well, fine. I already made my peace with it, like because how many game weeks, 4 or 5 game weeks, or even 3 game weeks, he just didn't deliver at all. So if he's delivering now, that's fine. The people that are stuck with him, it's okay because that was the whole point, anyways, to see the plan through.
But I
Because
think
they
he
had,
delivered. But you guys wanted more. Like you got like.
honestly, I was patient enough. I was getting angry. That was the thing. I didn't want to
No,
have a player
I think you wanted more
that I
because
was
I can
angry with.
remember like like he got an assist, he got a goal
Three.
during that period. Yeah, in game week 10
Mm-hmm.
he got the assist. In game week 12 he got the goal, and then game week 13 and 14 he blanked. But still there are the good fixtures were coming, and
Expected
but of
more.
course
Yeah,
West
but
Ham was not the
yeah.
game where you expect him to come
Mm-hmm.
back on top. But yeah, he did.
But credit to coach. I think he's been playing as a forward now because before he was being pushed to the wings to actually hog the
Yeah,
line.
they had
Uh,
an injury up
yeah.
top. Like Edward got an injured, he got injured, and
Mm-hmm.
so Zaha was moved up to play as a striker in
Yeah, I
that
think it
game.
suits him well. It suits him well, to be honest. Yeah, but
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
good. Those are that were loyal. Finally, they can enjoy the points. But
yeah.
I
But
have to move on, to
the
be honest.
biggest score this week was Leeds and Bournemouth. I think we spoke briefly about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 4-3 Tavernier. I don't know, but
Tavernier looks good, man. That guy is
yeah,
like
he was involved in
the
all
funny
goals
thing.
for Bournemouth.
I think his brother is James Tavernier. Is the one that's in Rangers. I'm not really sure.
Are they brothers? I don't know.
I don't know. They kind of
Yeah,
look alike.
I
They
know
kind
they
of
have
look.
the same names, but I'm not sure if
Mhm.
they are
They have the
relatives.
same surnames. But
Yeah.
I thought he was a fullback. I was thinking, oh, I need to get this guy in my team. But he's a winger, actually. He's listed as a
Yeah.
winger in the game.
Mhm.
That's the thing. And we have a lot of midfielders that are doing well. But he was exciting to watch. Like, him and Somerville from Leeds,
Yeah,
second time
Somerville. Yeah,
running
he keeps
with the,
doing
the
it,
winning
right?
goal.
Scored a winning
Yeah,
goal
man,
against Liverpool and scored a winning goal again against Bournemouth. Yeah,
hmm
he's flying.
Watching the review of the goals, the highlights, it was a fun game. It was a fun game, but I think Bournemouth should have just locked this one up because they needed the points. But they are
Yeah.
testament to Leeds and their resolve to, see out the game and come back, which is good.
Mhm.
Moving on to our individual teams. Let's start with you. Ooh, okay, fine. You
That's
can
your
start with
team.
me. You can start with me. So 63 points all out. I mean, after having a shocker of I think the past 2 weeks, I think this is it. It was, much deserved to be honest, because the average was 53, even though it was just 10 points more than the average, and I had some. I think I had a green arrow, so which is good. In my team, I played a 3-5-2. Um, Mitro didn't play, so I think who came in? Andreas came in for
Oh,
Mitro.
you're lucky there. You
Automatic
got the
substitution.
Andreas
Yeah.
goal.
Oh yeah, he's always first bench, always, because he's been doing so well. But I can't put him in as a starting, so I just put him as first bench. Anybody that misses out, he comes in. So I had Ward with a clean sheet. I had Trippier 12 points, Dunk with 1, Cancelo with -2, obviously. Foden also with his appearance point, man. Honestly, Pep is killing me here, but I have other things to worry about. That's why he's not on my team right now. Almiron with 8, Saka with 5, Mr. Salah himself 15. I wish I captained him. Andreas with 6, and then Captain Haaland with 10 points. And Wilson, who I think is still flagged, who was sick, I think went out with 1 point. But yeah, that's my team.
Yeah, you need to. Yeah, what is Ward? You really need to give him something. He has been a very good servant for you, right?
I think what happened is he hasn't. The coach had belief in him because he was doing so well against Schmeichel, even being a sub keeper. But he had quality. The problem is he hadn't played in a long time, so it was going to take him time to come back to like his confidence level to rise to the level where he's supposed to be. And I think defensively, Leicester they've turned the corner. They're doing really well.
Yeah, yeah.
They're doing really well defensively too. They're defending well, unlike before where they score and just leak goals. So what the funny thing is, like when it comes to keepers, I don't really pay much attention to keepers, but it seems like anyone I pick does well eventually. For the past 3 or 4 seasons now, like I've been doing this. But anyway, I don't want to jinx it. So let's move on to
Yeah,
your team.
Leicester. But yeah, definitely. But I think another thing is like form, like fixtures they breed form. Like if you have a good
Hmm.
fixture, like if you have tough fixtures, it's inevitable. It's gonna be tough for them. And I think they did not start the season very well, and they did not have the best of fixtures at the beginning of the season. And then eventually, when they had a turn of season after the international break, I think they eventually become much better, and they started keeping clean sheets, and the confidence started growing.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's the thing with when it comes to even Crystal Palace. I think at some point this season they were among the worst defensive teams in the league. But now you look at the table,
because
they
they,
are
they,
amongst
yeah,
among the best. So what changed? It's just they have better fixtures now. They
the
face
fixtures.
Liverpool,
Yeah,
face Man City, face Chelsea, or all the bigger teams. Arsenal in the first
hmm
half of the season, it was hard.
it
So
was tough for
sometimes,
them. Yeah, they had
yeah,
a very rough start. Yeah,
yeah, they lost the rough start. So yeah, that's the turn with Leicester too. They are enjoying that form. But yeah, I think Ward Everson double up is the way to go for goalkeeping. Are you gonna keep it after the World Cup, or are you gonna move
I,
into
Iverson, he might move on and might get like a Pope or somebody else in addition to Ward. Somebody that can
the problem with
like
getting Pope is what's the problem with getting players like Pope? You will start
mm,
benching your points in the your goalkeeping points. I think sometimes your strategy is a very good way to go with when it comes to goalkeeper. I can never do it. Like just pick one goalkeeper and then ignore the other one. I can never do that. But with you,
yeah.
you are very comfortable doing it. So
I'm very comfortable.
I don't see the
Whatever I
reason to
get,
change it.
whatever
Just
I
go and
get from
listen
my
to
keeper
Black
is
Box.
fine.
Listen to Black Box
It's
and
fine.
see as his team. Like he have Ward and the Henderson. Every time he starts Henderson, Ward gets a clean sheet. Every time he starts Ward, Henderson gets a clean. So this is what like he's trying
You
to
don't want that
chase those
headache,
points, but
man.
he's never getting them. So
You
your
you you
strategy,
don't you don't you
especially
don't want that
if you are
headache.
comfortable with it, is quite you
Hmm.
don't have to think about it, right? Thinking about it and then failing
Because
is very tough.
the sweet, like I always say this, I think I've nailed this down. There's a sweet spot, right? You don't want a team. You can get an expensive keeper, who keeps a clean sheet consistently, but you're going to price yourself out of that extra position in midfield, like a team like Man City now. You don't want to
Yeah.
have Ederson. when
Yeah.
you can have like three outfield players. You
Yeah.
know, we also want a really bad team that always concedes goals. We want a team in the middle who
In
the
between.
keeper
Yeah.
faces a lot of shots, but then also is really good enough to keep the clean sheet some once in a while. And
Yeah.
Ward, to be honest, when we began, I didn't think about like Ward is a good keeper or whatever. It was just in the right price. I have
Yeah.
also a price range of keepers. And then, we just picked two of them. And we were happy that the coach said that he wasn't going to get a new keeper. So we just knew that he was going to die with Ward until he gets better. And then there you are. So, yeah, I think I might change my second keeper to have. I want to that one that security just in case something happens to Ward and I have to
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
switch
Yeah.
or change the keeper. So I'm going to get a second keeper
Yeah.
who starts maybe or,
Yeah, yeah. I think there are
very
some very
cheap.
good 4.5 million keepers who have a
Hmm.
good, like
Yeah,
good
but I
chance
won't
for.
be. The
Yeah,
temptation will be there, but I won't be switching. I won't switch as often.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Because if you get somebody like Pope,
So,
you obviously gonna start him at some point. Like you will rather
hmm
start Pope than Ward, right? If you have him, like that is it is
yeah.
just like because Newcastle are defending better than this. But there are some other options in goalkeeping, like Sanchez at Brighton. But of course, they have the new manager who likes to attack things. So I don't know if it's a good idea to go with a Brighton goalkeeper. But there is a lot of 4.5 million keepers that you can make good value out of, I think. Yeah, let's look at my team now. My team, the highlight of my week is Cancelo, of course. The boy I have,
Oh, you captain him. Oh man.
yeah, all season what I've been talking about. I've been talking like you should not pick Cancelo, you should not do that, and then finally I brought the guy in because I wanted a
Oh
Manchester City
man.
defender, and yeah, now at this point I think he's the better option because things change, times change.
Mm.
Like then he came to my team for the first week, and I captained him for the first week. And then the guy go and get a red card in the 17th minute. I saw a red card. Cancelo? What is it? I was not watching the game, right? Just a notification on my phone. Cancelo red card. And then 1-1, Manchester City. So the clean sheet is gone. Cancelo is gone. It was that, yeah. I think he just had to punish me for
Yeah.
for for what I said about him over the
For
course of the
doubting him.
season.
Yeah.
For doubting him.
This.
Yeah. So
It
that
always
was it.
happens. It always
Yeah.
the
But yeah,
FPL
minus
gods
four.
always
Yeah.
deliver. Mm.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was lucky because in my mind I was like, oh, I captained him, but then I remember, oh, I think I changed it. So I was like, man, I just had a cool shiver down my whole body. I was like, this is going to be a really terrible game week. But I forget that a lot of people own Cancelo anyways. So
Yeah,
yeah, it
yeah,
was going
yeah.
to be across the
He's
board.
a
Hmm.
how do they call it? Public property.
Community, yeah.
Community property,
So
exactly.
take us through your team, the points.
Yeah, Pope was in goal, and Ward. You see, this is what I'm saying. Ward on my bench with his 6 point, and Pope with his 3 points. I have in defense Neko Williams, who I started over Robertson, and Cancelo, captain Trent 2 points, and Castagna 6 points. He has been ticking along very nice in my team,
Yeah,
Castagna.
Castania, yeah. That's
Uh-huh.
doing well.
And in midfield, I had Salah with his 15 points. Eze, who I brought, I think, about the same time with your Zaha, but I kind of kept with him. And he's ticking also quite with his 6 point goals and here and there.
Mm.
I have Martinelli. I think he has kind of dropped a little bit in terms of I don't know what happened, but he scored in the last game in the 5-0 like Arsenal win. Foden, yeah, I think that one the less said the better. Since I brought him in, me too.
The
It
less said,
has
the
been
better.
it has
Yeah.
been
Pep,
downhill.
please, FPL. I keep telling you guys, but yeah.
Yeah, so I went Haaland and Solanke up top with they also returned. I think my players did well generally, but because of that
Hmm.
captaincy and the
Captaincy,
minus, yeah,
yeah.
it really hit me hard. So I ended the
If you
game
had
with
stuck with
44.
if you had stuck with your Salah captaincy, I think you would have really
No,
reaped the rewards
I
this
was
week.
never captain in Salah against Tottenham. I never
Okay,
really
okay.
captained him. My captain was Haaland, and then Haaland I realized he was not starting. I
Hmm.
realized Haaland was not starting. Foden was not starting. So the best pick for me was Manchester City's players because I did not have any other good fixture. Like
Hmm.
the fixture said Man City, right? Because they played Fulham at home. So it was always gonna be Cancelo. So yeah,
Hmm.
Salah was never in my thinking to captain him. So yeah.
Okay, moving on to the Kotu Classic Mini League update. Manager of the week for this week is Drum roll.
Rima Ree.
Rima Rima.
Yeah,
Librans FC.
you know this guy, this lady. We
Oh,
haven't
she's
said.
the one, right?
She's the one. She's the one. She's the
Yeah,
like the main, like, how can I say, the Kotu Classic WhatsApp group.
first lady.
Yeah, first lady, yeah, you can, let's call him
Because
like that, first
yeah,
lady of the
I
Kotu
think
Classic
I
WhatsApp
think
group. Yeah,
I think
and
I had
his
the
team is
conversation with
from
her
Nicar.
in the
I
group.
cannot even
Yeah,
pronounce this name. Nicaranda. His team name. His team
Nicaragua.
Nicaragua. Yeah, it's close to states, right?
I
Is
think it's
it?
one of the islands. Yeah.
It's one of the island
Oh,
states.
okay.
So his team is
Rima Rima.
Nicaragua.
I don't know.
Yeah,
Oh,
his
okay.
team, her
I
team,
thought.
sorry, her team is in Nicaragua.
Oh, okay.
Like I said, she is from Sierra Leone, but she lives in the Gambia. So it's the only guy, only person with three countries on her team.
I
So
see.
yeah, but
She's
yeah,
the
what
one
a
with the
game
funny
week.
memes, right?
Well, yeah, with the funny memes and
She's
all
the
those
one.
kind of things. If you,
Yeah,
yeah,
no
like
wonder
jokes a lot.
because we were chatting in the group, and then when all these points were or the goals are going in, she was like, "Oh, I have this person, and she was dancing using the memes. I was like, "Ah, that means you're going to be the manager of the week, the week for this week." And apparently, she is.
She's
Yeah,
yeah, and she's
wow, that's
flying
nice.
because she's an Arsenal fan. She's an
Oh
Arsenal
yeah,
fan
okay,
as well. So
that's nice.
she's really flying in FPL. She's flying in football. So I think better, like, it cannot get any better for her this week.
That's a good
With his
season.
team,
Yeah,
Sanchez was in her goal. Trippier has been a good servant for you,
hmm
even though he had Cancelo the
yeah,
-2, but it did not affect her rather. I keep saying
hmm
him because we used to saying him all the time. Like, FPL is a him game. I'm very sorry for that.
yeah.
And then you have Gabriel with his 15 points.
Gabriel, wow.
She captained Salah. She captained
Ooh,
Salah.
that was
Gross.
that was the yeah.
Yeah, that was the game week changer.
Loyalty
Salah.
points. There we
Yeah,
go.
Gross, Almiron, Andreas, and Bernardo Silva in the middle, and then she had Jesus and Haaland up top. So yeah, 88
Mhm.
points in a game week like this. That was massive.
Yeah, I mean, congrats, Librans FC, for being the manager of the week. 88 points all out. I mean, we can only dream of points like these days when things are going crazy,
David, especially me,
Uh,
I am struggling to beat the average points. Like, the number of
yeah,
times
I
the
mean,
number of times
it's
the
a
average
struggle,
point beat.
man.
I used to be that person who only look at the top 10 average, but I am even struggling to beat the average points. It's crazy, man.
Mm. But it goes to show that a lot of managers this time around or this season are very in tune with the game. You understand? They are playing, they're making transfers, they're looking for news, looking for stats, looking for any way that they can get information on the player or the transfer they're supposed to make. Sometimes when I saw Cancelo got the red card, the next thing you know, he's being transferred out. I was like, hey, it's like I'm the one that is actually slacking now because people are like more aware of what is going on, even though they missed the boat with that one because there was a midweek game and
Mm.
then he was not going to get a red card. I was just waiting to see. I even transferred him out of my team and put him on the bench for this game week. And then I didn't see the red flag. I was like, what's going on? Did they make a mistake or something? And then you told me, I was like, oh, that makes sense.
Cancel.
That makes sense. I was
Yeah,
already thinking, oh man,
yeah. People
Anyways,
are.
moving on. The Kotu Classic. Mhm.
Yeah. Let's go.
The Kotu Classic top five. There's barely any change apart from there's a new person moving into the top five. McManaman.
Uh-huh.
Manama. Manaman. Anyway.
Man, na man.
Manaman.
Good
Anyway,
luck
that's good.
pronouncing.
I know, right? So the top four is unchanged. Pratik Aurora in fourth. In third is AY Roger. Second is Junius Hancock. And still in first, I think from start to finish, or maybe not start to finish, but majority of the season so far is Mohamed Dampa. Flying high, 944 total points. I mean, yeah, this guy is on a roll this season.
He's flying.
So keep up the good work, people. Top five, it keeps on changing. The top four is there. They're kind of like keeping up the pace, but like there's this fifth and fourth position that keeps changing all,
Yeah,
here and there.
I was
That means
expecting
it's.
to I was expecting to see you with the rise you had in the last few weeks. I was expecting to see you knocking on the door at the top five
I
door.
was there. I was up until what, 10th or so?
Yeah,
I think, or
but then
ninth, and then I just went back. Looking- that's how
yeah, I
competitive
told
this
you you
season
have
is.
the mantle
It's
this year. You have the
crazy.
Kotu Classic flag, so
No, 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 no,
you
no, no,
better raise
no.
it high.
No, no, no pressure, man. Let me just focus on something else. There's no way, you know. Yeah, so that was a mini league update. So, next segment is the fan corner.
Mhm.
Maybe we talk about our teams because we are both fans of two different clubs
Yeah,
who also happen to be rivals, anyways. Liverpool, Manchester United. First things first, let's talk about all things Liverpool. I think there's something happening that I think you as a fan need to explain more, which is
yeah,
the talks of the sale of the club. Chama,
yeah,
up to you now. Your
Y-
thoughts?
yeah. It's huge. It's huge. The owners they have plans to like invite stakeholders, and I think they also have the option. Like they think if it's possible, if they have the right buyers, they can sell the whole club. But I think they are looking more like stakeholders. According to their statement, I'm not the financial guy or something like that exactly, but I don't know. But yeah, it's huge. We all have mixed feelings about these owners, like American owners when they came. If I remember the day they were supposed to sell Liverpool, it started somewhere in 2010, 2012, or 2009. I cannot remember the year
Mm,
exactly, but Liverpool were close to going to administration, and you know what that means, right?
mm, yeah,
Like the club
terrible.
was gonna be bankrupt or something like that. So they
Hmm.
they took us out of that hole, and then gradually took away all the depths that the club had, developed every facet of the game for Liverpool Football Club, starting from the stadium, like which is not very important. It's important if you're a Liverpool fan, and then you're talking about the players and the system that they bring and all those kind of things. Everything they change in the club. So they have been massive for Liverpool Football Club, to be honest. And but again, we have mixed feeling. We feel they could have done much better, especially considering how teams are spending money now in their like it's crazy. So yeah, but about the sales, I like they say sometimes you wish for something more, and then it's not what you expect it to be there. So I have mixed feelings about this sale because I don't know what direction they are gonna head. The club is gonna head, but I think they have done enough. They have done a lot for the club, but I think they could have done way more if they were a little bit. They were not so stingy.
So, in other words, you're also hoping that you get the Arab money so that you can invest like into the club and buy the necessary players, right?
Uh-huh.
At a point, is like what would you prefer? Would you prefer to have an owner who's more um let's say careful, like let's say somebody else that's not the Fenway Group who has more funds to spend or to invest in the club, but who's also more aware of the moves that they're making, more like let's say I don't know the word is not coming to my mind right now, but somebody who's more of a football
Like
mind.
do I want no like
Or
I
do you
think
or do you
I
want
think
or do you want
wanting a
somebody?
football mind, like the ideal situation is you have a very rich
Yes,
owner
I agree.
who have some
Mhm.
emotions for the club. That is the ideal situation, but that does not exist anymore. That is the reality. It does not exist. Like Fanway, they did well. They don't have any emotional attachment to Liverpool. They are truly business people.
Mhm.
So that's why they
Mhm.
were only thinking business. They even though they try to accept the values to the club and stuff like that, but they are not this, you know. So they don't have that emotional attachment that the fans like myself have or other fans have for the club. They don't have that. They are truly businessmen. Like the owner before them was Hicks and Gillett. They were similar. They were terrible. They were worse than Glazers. And then before those, you had Peter Moss, who was the Liverpool owner who had who did not have enough money to take the club to the fourth, but he was part of the system. He was an English, he
Mm.
was a Liverpoolian, so he has some emotional attachment. That's why he had to sell the club because he could not take them any further because he did not have
Mhm.
enough money for that. So now to have this kind of money, like this kind of, even Abramovich, I think he had some emotional in the end. He had some emotional attachment for Chelsea, but
Oh, of course, yeah,
generally,
of course,
in the
yeah.
ideal world, like that will be the ideal situation. You find an owner who is very rich
Attached to the club,
and
yeah,
have some emotional attachment to the club, but this does not
invested.
exist.
Hmm.
But to be honest, I like the way Fenway run Liverpool Football Club in terms of strategies and things like that. You know, they did not. they did not go like they spend what they within their means. Those I like that kind of system, but with the way
I
football
think
is
they
going, if
change. Yeah.
yeah, with the
Mhm.
way football is
They change the
going,
whole scenario. Yeah. Go on.
exactly with the way it is going, I don't think they are like you need more money. You need to invest a little bit more than you are investing.
Hmm.
So that's why Liverpool
I
fans
think,
kind of get a little bit greedy. Like they want to be like Manchester City fans and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, I think, and people, perception of people is when they think about owning a football club, it's always about money. But these people, they have done exceptionally well in other aspects of the game, in terms of developing the stadium, which was a difficult task for any owner who came to Liverpool to improve the Liverpool stadium. Now they have improved it to one of the top three highest capacity stadiums in England. They developed the new training capacity. So in terms of infrastructure, they have developed Liverpool very well. And in terms of finance, they have really stable the club. Liverpool don't have any debts and stuff like that. And also in terms of the football aspect, which is my interest personally, I don't really. Of course, I can talk about other things, but the main thing is about the football, watching the football, enjoying my team play, enjoying the players. This is what I enjoy about football clubs. So sometimes it's so hard for me to go outside this sphere, but you have to do it because at the end of the day, you will be challenged by other people who support other clubs and things like that. But it's not really the fun part for me.
yeah, I think the way that they've handled the club and the investment and the money ball idea that they brought into the club, they've brought in something different to football because before the bigger clubs used to go out and spend money, splash the cash, and get all the players
The good
from
players.
smaller clubs. Liverpool came in with a different mindset. Moneyball is to have a model that they use to actually identify players that fit into their strategy. So, funnily enough, they did it so well that almost all the other clubs now are doing the same thing. Even the smaller clubs are doing the same thing. To actually maximize their profits and their recruitment player. They really
Yeah.
recruit players. So
You
the
you
same thing
guys
that's
you
working
guys
for
signed a
for
recruitment,
Liverpool.
right? You signed
I think we did. Yeah, we did.
1 year or 2 years
Recruitment.
ago. Recruitment
I
something,
think
right?
recently.
Yeah, recently. I think
Recently, yeah.
Liverpool had
Yeah.
this since 2010, right? So it has been.
So you can see.
There's
So
the gap.
now that everybody is there, it's difficult for Liverpool to continue doing the same thing when
Yeah,
everybody
it's
has
not possible.
adopted the same strategy. It's not possible now.
It's
So
obsolete
even
now
these
for them.
small players, even these gem of a players that people like don't even know, you go now, you ask for the price. The price is astronomical, and now
Mhm.
nobody's cheap. That's the way football is right now. But it's fair. So now I think they need to invest more money to get the players that they were
Mhm.
used to getting for cheap. That's
Mhm.
just it. But yeah, I think you guys would do if you have an owner that has the money to back the manager, which is very important. You need some investment because you need to buy like top players now because you're at that level where you
Yeah,
are
and
like the leading
Fenway
team
cannot do
in
that, right?
Europe. Yeah, I don't think they can do that. Or maybe they don't want to because that's not the
That's not
plans
their
they have for
style.
the club.
Actually, you see,
Yeah.
they are one of the owners who have been on Manchester City for this FFP. Like they have been on FIFA
Hmm.
or CAF or FA
Hmm.
to implement FFP, financial fair play. But they have gone as far as they could, but there is no much impact. Manchester City,
The
they were
game is
charged.
the,
They
the
were
game is just
charged.
corrupt.
Yeah, that's why Manchester City don't like him. But I think he
I
feel
mean,
like it cannot be fair, so they want to leave,
mm.
and they
Yeah,
cannot
it can never
satisfy
be.
what Liverpool. They cannot do more than what they have done, but they have done
They
well, to be
give it to
honest.
the next person. Yeah, I mean they've done well. Okay,
But I
let's
don't
move
like
it
them though.
along.
That I will always say. I don't like them. Even with all that, I feel they should have done more. Just that greedy part of being a
Yeah,
fan.
a fan is always greedy. Yeah, I know, I understand. So for Manchester this week in the fan corner, I think I only have um one thing to remember the Greenwood issue. Like we have such a good player in Greenwood, that
Yeah.
was really exceptional and generational talent. Somebody that came through the ranks, and then all of a sudden, what happened. In a moment of I don't know what the school for is, but no way or form do we condone those kind of things. And now he's out of the team.
Mhm.
And we are so lucky enough to have somebody else in Garnacho that's also, coming up the ranks, like a very good player. He's a talented player, actually, who's getting his chance in the team. I don't want us to put so much pressure on him. Like, with England, if you have a player that's coming up, they will want to put pressure on him, if he doesn't perform. He's coming up and he's lucky enough to have a coach who develops talent in
Yeah.
Eric Ten Hag. So that I have no doubt. But let's just give the guy time to come up. But he's a player that I'm sure if he was out there for everybody to go for, most of these top teams would be dying or trying everything they can to sign him. Yeah. So this at least is the glimmer of hope. That we have some good players coming up from
Coming
our
up. What
youth
did
team.
he do in the League Cup? And by the way, yesterday.
I didn't watch. I just saw the highlights, but apparently he didn't start. But when he came on for a cameo, I think 20 something minutes, 23 minutes. Next thing you know, he's assisting, he's changing the gameplay. Running at defenders.
Yeah.
There
He
was
got a
a,
couple
I
of
think there was a,
assists, right? Yeah.
yeah, it was
Some
I
good, some
mean,
good assists.
he can dribble here. He's fast, and his level of thinking, the crosses, obviously, at having his own cross. Rashford doesn't cross; he cuts in and takes a shot. Sancho do the same thing. And right now, the pressure is on Sancho to start performing because he hasn't been doing well this season, even though he had a few goals and stuff like that. But
Mhm.
we when we bought him, we had this idea in our mind that we are buying somebody who's a
Special
generational
player.
talent. Because for 2 years we couldn't sign him. You can imagine. We couldn't sign him for the first year, came back the second year, and then signed him.
Those
So I hope
those
that he,
transfers don't go
yeah.
well. I'm telling you.
Honestly,
It's similar to Liverpool with Naby Keita. Liverpool had to wait for him 2 years to sign him, and since he came, for him, I think he has been
it's the
unfortunate
injury.
or
It's
he
unlucky.
too much injuries, man. I cannot really imagine how somebody
Yeah.
can be so injury prone like that.
So unlucky. With Sancho, I think it's a confidence level, because it's a Manchester, it's a bigger team. So
Mhm.
a lot of you're in the spotlight. People are going to talk about you after every performance, and they have that right because it's a big club, you know.
Yeah.
So I think he should just believe in himself because there's a reason why we bought him. He's a very talented player. So I hope he comes back into the team, even though there's a lot of competition right now. So it's going to be something. Um, Finally, in this fun corner, we'll talk about the World Cup fantasy. Chama, the plug, please.
Yeah. We will be playing, guys. We will be playing the World Cup Fantasy.
Both of us,
Yeah.
yes.
Both of us will be playing. And we have the Kotu Classic World Cup. So we have our own World Cup as well. So, and the league code of the World Cup is here. If you are watching, please pause the video and then just, put in the link, which is M80 NFL 3K, and join us in the Kodu Classic World Cup Fantasy. And yeah, let's play.
It will be fun. Yeah,
Should
it's
be
an
better than
escape.
FPL at least.
It's an escape from the FPL.
Good
If you want
escape
to take a
from
break,
FPL.
yeah, if you want to escape from the whole FPL thing, then obviously just enjoy a World Cup without fantasy. But for addicts like me, I'm already signed into the game. So yeah. Okay, moving on to anything you want to say, Sam?
No. You go.
Okay. Um, Moving on to game week 16 preview, the last game before the World Cup. So let's look at the schedule or the fixture. Um, first game, Man City Brentford. This is also
The early
the
kickoff.
first game of the early kickoff. The problem is, I hope this doesn't happen again. Where you have the side crashing because of transfers and early team news. But we all know that Haaland is now fit to play. The problem is will he start? But at least we know he's fit, which is a
Mhm.
good thing. So hopefully the crash wouldn't be as big this time.
Now we don't know his fit
um,
because Pep said they train today
mhm.
and we will see.
It's just
He's,
that just always trying to bring attention to himself. I don't know what's his problem. The guy is fit. Play him. We have things to play, man. What's his problem? I don't understand that. I need to have a word with him. Anyways, any fixture here that you think we should target for FPL because this is the last game week before World Cup, and I know people are looking for ways to explore and have maximum points so that you can have a good 40 days where you can just relax and enjoy yourself. Because if you have a very low scoring game week, it's going to be a rough ride for you in these next few weeks. So, which fixture are we looking at, Channel?
I think Manchester City is the one. Manchester City, Tottenham,
Brentford.
Liverpool. These three fixtures. I think if I was on a free hit or if I still had my wild card, I would triple up on all these three teams. Even though Liverpool they face a Southampton team who just sacked their manager. We did not even talk about him. I'm so sad for Ralph Hasenhuttl. He was one of my
Yeah, he's a
favorite
good coach,
managers.
but yeah, he's
Yeah,
a good
they just
coach. But
moved
it
on.
just happens that
Yeah.
the results are not going their way, so they have to they were forced to make a move.
Yeah, so
And
that's
I
that
was so
that, that
happy with the team in the
uh,
beginning because the team was young. They had a lot of new players like Bella Kotchap, who I admire, the defender, who has been called up to the German side. I just saw it yesterday. So, I mean, it's
mhm.
not all bad there. So
Yeah, it was not all bad, but yeah, like the fixture, like I think it will be an interesting one between Liverpool and them. They say like new manager bounce and stuff like that. So and Liverpool, the season they are having, if Southampton happens to win that game, you will not be surprised. But I think,
yeah, you wouldn't be
nonetheless,
surprised.
you would
Yeah,
expect Liverpool. You would expect Liverpool. This is a game that you will expect Liverpool to win.
mm,
So if you were on a wild card, if you were in a free hit, like just before the World Cup, I think I would triple up on Liverpool. I would triple up because this week is a week of punt pick. It's a week about punt. Like
yeah.
where do you
Just
have your punt?
take a risk.
So
Yeah.
yeah, yeah, Liverpool players, I would look at
Um.
them. Tottenham players.
mhm.
Mm,
Yeah, I was looking at because when I first saw Leeds, I don't know, for some reason I have this idea about Leeds that they leak goals, which they do.
mm,
I was thinking that Spurs, but Spurs, the only thing is Spurs are missing Son, and they are not of the best form this past few weeks. They've been losing games,
mm,
and you don't want to take a risk on somebody who's on a losing streak. But this might just be the game that they need to bounce back up, and Kulusevski is back,
mm.
which might change things for them. So he was the one that I was willing to bring in, but the problem is,
Take
who do I take out for him?
take a punt on. Yeah.
That's the issue. Yeah, but he's a good pick. I think any sports player, even Kane too, is a good pick for this fixture.
Yeah, Kane is difficult to have, I think, unless you are selling like you are making two transfers,
Haaland.
or you are selling
Mm,
Haaland. That is the only way you get Kane. But if you have him in your team, I think he's a very good one to have. He has been,
for this week.
except he
Yeah.
has been very, very, very consistent. The only reason that we are not talking too much about him is because of Haaland. How would do with what
Mm,
Haaland is doing. But also, I think Crystal Palace, they play Nottingham Forest. Nottingham Forest too, they leak a lot of goals.
yeah.
So
hmm
that could be another one for Zaha. So those ones who
Zaha
own
is
Zaha,
striking. Things.
yeah,
Yeah.
he looks exciting too for a 1 week punt. And yeah. But I say the Manchester United fixture too as a punt one. There is some punt to take there.
Fulham. Yeah. Fulham. They also league goals. We all know that.
Mhm, mhm.
It's a must win for Man U if you want to continue like pushing for that top four. But Fulham, they attack. Mitrovic might not be playing, but Fulham also attack. But I feel like there's an opportunity to take a punt with Manchester players. Rashford is there, Marshall is back. Even some of our fullbacks like Dallo is not playing. Obviously, he had five
Yeah,
yellow cards.
actually, I'm thinking of going a Man United punt because of the way
hmm
my team is set up. I cannot. Uh, the only two moves that I feel I can make is Andreas out and then bring in somebody cheap like Andreas, like Bailey or somebody cheaper than that, 4.5 million or cheaper. Or I go remove my goalkeeper in Pope and then bring in another player. Pope play Chelsea. So I will not be surprised if Newcastle win Chelsea with the form Chelsea are in and keep a clean sheet for that matter. So why will I do
mm
that? So yeah. And I cannot just keep my transfer there. I have to use it. I must use it and
mm.
then try to take a punt. And that's why I'm
Definitely,
thinking
but
of the
that is
Manchester
that's
United
the thing.
game. That's
Yeah.
why you were talking about Garnacho. I saw a bit of the United game, to be honest. So I just wanted to
Mm.
ask you as the United fan. But I saw the game and I think he was very exciting. He was very direct in the way he took on his man. The chances he created. He created two goals, one for uh McTominay and the other one was
Uh,
for
Rashford? Is it
no,
Rashford?
I think he created Bruno
Or
Fernandez's
Bruno?
goal. Bruno's goal, yeah.
Okay.
He created those two goals. And yeah, he looks exciting, 4.3 million. And he's a player I could buy and expect him to break in. And if that happens, he
Mm.
could be somebody I could keep in my team forever. For the remainder of the season, I mean.
Yeah,
And
that's
then
true.
gives
Yeah.
me a lot of funds to spend somewhere else. So that's how I look at him. And yeah, he's just 0.2% owned at the moment. So that's the point I want to take. Do you have any players that you think they are worthy of a punt this week? Who are the best punts in your opinion?
The best point would be for me. Zaha obviously is obvious choice for me. I wish I'd had him, to be honest, but I already made up my mind that it's a loss. That's fine. Zaha number one. Two is Spurs against Leeds. Kulusevski, Harry Kane. If Son was
Mm,
there, definitely Son. You know,
yeah.
another one for Man U, Garnacho, like you said, is a good one. But
What was?
I think Marshall is another one that I think
Yeah.
I was really looking at because he's back. Whenever he's back, the way we play just changes because he's very fluid in that attack. It's like he's perfectly made for Ten Hag and the way Ten Hag plays football. He even said it himself. So if he's fit and he's gonna start, definitely have him in. He's probably gonna have a few goals in this game, I think. Yeah, obviously, like I went with you'll see in my team, Liverpool punt, Darwin Nunes. I hope Southampton
I
don't.
think it's the most popular one, to be honest, Darwin.
Yeah, I think I just hope Southampton don't have the new manager bounce. It's like,
Well, they can have the new manager bounce and then still concede a few goals. So
yeah,
maybe that
yeah.
will be better for you as a United fan. Like 4-3 Southampton win,
No, no, no,
Darwin
no,
with
no.
the hat trick.
I know, right? And yeah, Salah with 3 assists, and that's the best way to go. That's what we hope for. Also, I think Wolves have been really terrible this season, or the past few games, anyways. And I think Arsenal having um the Arsenal players, Saka is also a good player to have. Gabriel Jesus has been having kind of a rough patch recently. So Saka, who I already have, I think is a good point to keep in this game. Also, the Arsenal defense. You saw Gabriel had 15 points, or how many points last game? He can come up with one of these goals and then keep a clean sheet. Might hold. So yeah,
Yeah.
those ones I think are the
Yeah.
obvious ones for me.
Yeah, I heard somebody say something like that. Like, if you are taking a punt in
Mm.
defense, you rather take it on center backs because they are the ones who are likely to score one goal and then get a 15 point or something like that. Of course,
Yeah,
fullbacks, they are more of a long term picks, but like center backs, they are very unpredictable. So if you are talking about punt, you have to go for the unpredictability of, of players. That's why Darwin, I think I like
mm.
it because you never know. Darwin can just come and
He
smash
can
everything
come.
in
Yeah,
the
score. That's the
like,
thing. The way he
and then every
plays, yeah, that's how we look at
yeah,
him.
he's that type of player because he's always in those
That's how
kind
I
of
play.
positions.
Yeah.
I think you covered you mentioned all the points that people need to take.
Hmm.
If I had to add any other point, let me see. Mm, yeah, it's how about the Bournemouth game, Everton game, Everton game? I think it's gonna be a dull one.
I
Zero
think
zero.
it's going to be tough. It's going to be close. It's going to be close because Bournemouth are really a good team now. The way they play is like I watched the highlights and I was like, wow, they play different from the beginning of the season.
Mm,
Everything they're trying, but they had a few 2 or so weeks where they won and they were exciting, but I don't know. I kind
yeah,
of feel like something missing there still. Calvin Lewin is not really as fit, even
he's
though he's
injured.
back.
He will not be available this week.
He's injured again. Oh man, it's terrible. I really feel for him because he was somebody that we're looking forward to.
The
Anyways,
punter.
I wish him all the best. But I think Bournemouth might just edge this game. Yeah,
I
but
think they can
there's
win the
goals.
game. I think they can
I
win,
think there's
but
some goals in this game. Yeah, there's
yeah,
some goals.
I just feel Everton when they go away from home, no matter who they play, it's the big team, it's a small team, they go and sit back and defend it because
Mm,
they know even 1 point is valuable for them. So I don't see them going out. So I don't
mm,
see it being a very open game. I can see Bournemouth win it.
mm.
I will prefer them to win,
Yeah,
of
but it's a
course.
chance, boy. Who else do you want to play? That's just a newly promoted team. This is your chance to go out and win. So they should
Yeah.
take their chances. To be honest.
Who Everton?
Okay. Yeah, Everton. Yeah, they should win. They
But
can win.
they don't do that. That is the problem. When
I
they
don't
go
know
away
why they
from
don't go
home,
out and play.
when
Yeah.
they go away from home, they don't do that.
Mm. Okay. So let's look at the mythic sticker
The final one
for
for before the World Cup.
the final one before the World Cup. You see, Salah, really?
Yeah, this
Wow,
was
this
at the
is
start of the
interesting.
season. Well, this was at the start of the season before Haaland become Haaland. Yeah, So and you had Kane number two and Son. Yeah, and then
Yeah,
Haaland
okay.
came.
So first we had Salah, second Salah versus Southampton, first choice, second choice Kane, Son versus Leeds. That's a good one, man.
Mm.
And third choice is Haaland KDB versus Brentford. Fourth is Cristiano Bruno versus Fulham. Fifth is Solanke. Wow, he's done super for himself against Everton. And sixth is Bowen against Leicester. But Leicester is now a different team. So this is going to be interesting.
Yeah, Bowen too is a
Uh,
good point to have, right?
it's a good point to have, but it's Leicester, man. Leicester defensively now they're playing with such confidence.
They will,
Madison, I'm happy that he made it into the World Cup team, but he's been exceptional this past few games, man. Like
yeah,
I
they have
enjoy
been.
watching him play.
Yeah, I agree with you. They have been doing well, to be honest, defensively. But yeah, they
Yeah,
go to
yeah.
West Ham now. This is why I try to say home and away fixtures and stuff like this. I think this is a difficult game for them for
Mm,
Leicester.
going away, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
If I have to choose, I would say I think Kane versus Leeds will be the one for me. But man, yeah, it's. I think just put it on Haaland. If it starts, that's fine.
Yeah. Definitely,
Get your
definitely. I
get
think
your goals,
everybody's
man.
gonna put it on
You
Haaland,
don't wanna you
except
don't wanna risk you don't wanna
except
risk it.
myself. For me, it's all about the excitement, like I tell you. It's close because you
So
can see
okay.
all of
Anyway,
them are green and yellow. So like
yeah,
any three
yeah.
of them you captain is a good captaincy pick.
You can get a return. Yeah.
So at the end,
Um.
I decide based on where my love lies, and
So Salah, huh?
and that is Salah. So that's why I'm going Salah this week. It has nothing to do
Okay.
with either.
Understandable.
Yeah,
Understandable. Um. So, uh, finally, our teams. The big
yeah,
reveal.
yeah. I haven't done anything yet. But like I say,
No
Garnacho.
changes.
Yeah, I have
Mm-hmm.
one free transfer. So I have Andreas Pereira. I like Andreas. I want him in my team because he's a good cheap option. But I I don't like him too because I always put him on my bench, and so I would rather I'm not using him in other words. So I don't mind not having him, even though he's giving points. That's what I'm saying. So if I have a cheaper version of him, which Ganacho can be, but I can also go back to Andreas if I need him because he's cheap. So that's why I want to take that punt where I will bring in Ganacho for Andreas and then Mitrovic out because Mitrovic I don't know if he will be fit. And I go
Well,
three
according
five
to the
two.
news, they said he have two broken bones in his leg. I think he's the talisman for his country. I think Serbia to play for
So
the World Cup. So they
it's
might just
unlikely.
decide to just give him
Yeah.
this game so that he can rest up for the World Cup. I
Yeah.
don't think he's
So
gonna play, but that's just my opinion.
yeah.
He
So
might
that's my punt.
show up.
Ganacho.
Yeah. So take us through your team. Who's in your team
Pope in goal.
for this?
Cancelo is back. Trent and
Mm-hmm,
Robertson. I cannot be happier
mm-hmm.
having them this game week. And then they will blank. I'm sure Liverpool will concede and then they will give me a 1 point or a 2 point, whatever it is. Eze against Nottingham Forest.
Mm-hmm.
That's a nice one.
Mm-hmm.
Martinelli against Wolves. Foden against Brentford. I just ignore Pep. Whatever he do, he want. I will
Yeah, it's
just leave
fine.
those players there.
Mm-hmm.
And Salah captain, Haaland, Solanke, and Mitrovic. But Mitrovic, like I say, if Garnacho comes in for Andreas, then I have Garnacho starting over Mitrovic. That is the plan.
Okay, it's a good team, man. I
Yeah,
think so. Apart from apart from Liverpool defense, but this is the best way game week to have them anyway. So
yeah,
um, so my team, I'm going with a 3-4-3. I have Ward in goal, ever Wardy, trustworthy Mr. Ward himself. Defense, I have Cancelo, Trippier, and Dunk. Dunk has been giving me like 1 point, 1 pointers, man. And it's high time he steps up and does something, score a goal or something, man. I've been loyal to him, so I deserve loyalty points. Midfield, I have Salah, who's the vice, Almiron, Foden, and Saka. I'm really happy with my midfield this week. I think they can do very well if Foden plays. Up top, I have Wilson, who's flagged. I hope he'll be fit for the game. Captain Haaland, and then Darwin Nunes, who's the transfer in for
mm,
Mitrovic. Yeah.
nice
So
transfer. Darwin.
yeah, that's that. I couldn't be happy with my game week, even though I wish I could do better. But I think my selection is fine. I'm happy with it. I made
Yeah, the
peace with
squad
it.
looks good.
So yeah.
Looks good.
Yes, so this is that. Um, come to the end of the pod, and we hope everybody will enjoy the World Cup break. You take a much needed break from FPL if you want.
Yeah,
If you don't want to take a break, you want to play the World Cup fantasy, please join us. Let's have more fun with the World Cup. No pressure in the fantasy because it's just a one-off. But
yeah,
yeah, thank you guys for listening. Chama, any last words?
yeah. Let's enjoy the World Cup and like you say, if you're new around the Kotu Classic, please consider hitting that like and subscribe to the channel. And well, yeah, hopefully we will see you after the World Cup. I don't think we will have anything, but you never know. Maybe there might be something,
Just
some
make a fun party. Yeah, you never know.
report
Yeah,
about something. I don't know, but we will
yeah.
see.
But
So just
mm-hmm.
keep your eyes on, and yeah, good luck, guys.
All right.
And let's
Good
let's end
luck.
the let's
Mm-hmm.
end the pre-World Cup fantasy football with a green arrow.
On a high, yeah. At
Yeah,
least
on a high,
much
at
needed
least.
green so that you can sleep better at night.
Exactly,
No,
exactly.
no stress. Yeah. Thank you guys for always supporting the pod. We are the Kotu Classic FPL podcast, and catch you guys on the next one.
Goodbye.
Bye.